Hello. I am. I'm about to start a committee meeting in like 5 minutes. So I'm gonna call you back right after. Okay? Okay. Bye bye. I don't hear from nobody. Now, everybody want to call me as soon as I got a meeting. Always. Mm. Oh my God, what is gonna happen? We have to come back in chambers. Yeah, I don't know. It, during, oh, right. And my seat is right up front. If they don't change anything. Oh yes, hold up. So it'll be Linda, Xanthia, Brigida, me, Michelle, and who was in that last seat? Can't even think. Cause it was so I'm six, Michelle's four. Like it was like dun 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 dun. It was so it wasn't like we was all in sequential order. So it was like one, three, five, but then I
We were
six.
leaving this morning.
Huh? What's going on?
No, that shush wasn't for you. I was trying to listen to what you were saying.
Okay, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm actually trying to, as now we're starting to be more in the chambers, I'm trying to remember the order that everyone was seated. It was
Okay, it was me,
who's
Xanthia,
on the other
that
side of Michelle? It was
Trippy was.
oh, that's who it was. Oh my God.
And behind him was Ciro.
Yeah, no, behind him is Chris. So behind him was
Yeah,
Chris,
now,
then Sarah was
now,
behind Michelle, and then Rashima was behind me.
right.
Right. Thank
And
you.
I don't know
I
my side, but
apologize to the council president. Your side is hold on. Bud was behind, so it would I'm not even certain who that be
who's in Bash's spot? Is
then.
that
Brigida.
Brigetta?
Brigida, yeah. So and
Brigida.
Bud was behind that seat, Vash's seat.
Right behind Brigida,
And then it was
behind.
Sam
Yeah,
Guy was behind Xanthia, and then Loretta
Xanthia.
Walsh was behind you.
Yeah.
Okay. The memories.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We have like 2 more minutes until we begin the meeting. Good evening, everyone. This meeting is now called to order. Are we good, Wendell?
You may begin the meeting, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You may begin the meeting, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right, this meeting is now called to order. This is the Education, Youth, and Family Services Committee meeting for October 13th. I'm your chair, Councilwoman Member Yolanda McCoy for the 6th District. At this time, I will call the roll for the members of the committee first. This is something new. I normally just allow people to introduce themselves. Councilwoman Linda Gray,
Present.
Councilwoman Shanae Darby, Councilwoman Brigida Fields,
Present.
Councilwoman Zanthia Oliver, Council President Trippy Conga.
Here.
Okay, thank you. We do have a quorum. Are there any other members of council that wish to introduce themselves if they are present for the meeting? Okay. Okay, so I just want to let you know that we have 3 things that are on the agenda this evening. First, we have a presentation by Girls with Pearls Foundation. Will there be anyone to speak to this presentation? Who will be giving this presentation?
Yes, I'm here, Kamika Bell. I will be giving a presentation.
Thank you, and welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. So good evening, good evening, afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's exciting to share a little bit with you, a little bit about Girls with Pearls. I believe some of the council members had an opportunity to stop by our grand opening in May. We finally officially had our grand opening. We were working virtually for the past year and a half, 2 years due to the pandemic, but it was so exciting to see some council members who came out to support our grand opening, to take a tour of our facility, and more importantly, to meet our amazing girls. So again, thank you so much for having me, and I'm honored. I am Kamika Bell, founder and executive director of Catalyst for Change Incorporated and Girls with Pearls. And our mission is that we are empowering young girls to strive for excellence. And if we can go to the next slide. Thank you. Thank you so much who's going through the slides for me. Who are we? We are a Christian mentoring organization. We are faith-based, and we do reside here in Wilmington, Delaware, in a Trolley Square area. We've spent our last 4.5, 5 years utilizing the Wilmington Library, and it's such a blessing to have our own facility now where we can come and go as we please and not be rushed out of the library. We are celebrating 9 years, and we really work with young girls in the areas of etiquette, really teaching these young ladies how to be young ladies, how to prepare for leadership. We are really working with these young girls how to be leaders, how to serve their community, how to be change agents, and more importantly, social graces in the world, such as etiquette, table manners, the ability to speak confidently and boldly in front of their peers, but more importantly, in front of the public as well. And we do provide dance, a portion of lyrical dance, modeling, and praise dance. We just recently was blessed and honored to speak. Our girls did a beautiful dramatic monologue for the first African-American female superintendent, Dr. Vi Kate at Capitol School District, and they did such a wonderful job. And here are some photos you would see. We do a photo shoot every year. Last year, our theme was white. It represents purity, and they dressed up in their beautiful white dresses. They still have their white dresses from previous events. So we wore these white dresses for the pearl ceremony, and they just did a phenomenal job. Many of my girls have been with me for 7, 8 years. I have a wonderful retention rate, which I'm really blessed and honored. And, as many people ask me, how do you recruit for your girls? Actually, a lot of my girls, all of these girls are through referral. They refer to me, not a lot of marketing, but we are always welcoming new girls to our program. All of our girls majority of them are honor roll students. I would say out of the 13, 14 girls I have, I would say at least 98% of these girls are honor roll students. You go to the next slide. These are my leaders. I have a leadership component with Girls with Pearls where I teach these young ladies how to be leaders. They are the next change agents. They are going to stand on my shoulders one day. So really teaching them how to take charge, to step up to the plate so that they're not only leaders with Girls with Pearls, but they're also leaders in their school and they're also leaders in their community. So these are young girls who are doing well, come with wonderful ideals and initiatives so they can use those skill traits to be change agents in their school and also in the community. This is one of our summer dance recitals we've had 2 years ago. So this, as I mentioned before, this is one of our portions of our Girls with Pearls. Is dance. So we teach these young girls dance, building their confidence, also how to sit appropriately. Many of you have danced before. It really teaches girls poise and posture. So this is some of our highlights of some of the work we have done over the years. Again, we talk about confidence. Many of these young girls, I've had them, they were kindergarten, they blossomed into high school students now. And when they first came to Girls with Pearls, very shy. They didn't have the ability to speak up or speak in front of a crowd. Now they can take a microphone, they can introduce someone, they can walk confidently on a runway. So this is something, and one of our components with Girls with Pearls is teaching these young ladies how to have confidence, but also that confidence within, staying humble, but also making a presence wherever you go. So this is one of our galas we had a few years ago. As you can see here, it was 2019, our last gala. And our girls performed and danced. They performed in fashion. We had an award ceremony where we definitely highlighted girls for community service, academic achievement, and also other work they have done throughout the year. And so this is our gala from 2019, and we're getting excited for our 9th annual gala, which will be October the 31st. And yep, so our gala is coming up. Our gala of the October the 31st is going to be at the Executive Conference Center and Suite in Newark, Delaware. Of course, one of our city council members, Rashima Dixon, is being honored this day. So we're super excited to have these young ladies to showcase their talents, to showcase their skill sets they've been developing over the last 2 years since we've been virtually. But we also want to honor amazing women who are also empowering young girls in the community. So we're looking forward to this amazing event. We still do have tickets available if you're interested in attending. So this is who we are, just a short spiel of the work we're doing in the city of Wilmington. And we're looking forward to impacting more lives, more young people in the city of Wilmington.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bell.
Yes, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Well, if you do not, because I don't see any hands up, I actually had a question. So you said that most of the young ladies are actually brought to you by referral.
Yes, right.
There's no active recruitment at all?
Not at this moment. Well, that's something we're going to be focusing on when the gala is over in 2022, focusing on more of an active initiative recruitment process. So right now, like I mentioned before, all of these girls are just through referral process and trying to keep it and making sure I have the manpower in the team to make sure that we work with the girls to give them what they need. I didn't want to grow so big and then I'm not able to reach these girls. So yes, moving forward in 2020, we will be working on a initiative, some type of recruitment initiative.
Okay, thank you.
You're so
When
welcome.
when you get a chance, I can't find a hand, but I don't think I'm next, okay?
Okay, well, I actually saw Councilwoman Fields, her hand went up and then down. Did you still have a question?
Yes, Madam Chair, you did. You kind of answered, you kind of asked my question, but when you do choose, can I ask
Yes,
the question?
please.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Ms. Bell, when you do decide to recruit, what are you really looking for in these girls, and where are you going? Um, where are you going at to look for these girls, recruit these girls?
Sure, excellent question. So when they do come to me, there is a application process. So they, of course, they fill out an application. They need a recommendation from a principal or from a church member, pastor, and also I do ask for a copy of their most recent report card as well. So then normally definitely, and then I also interview the parent. I do take some time to get to know the parent because you definitely want to make sure it's a good fit, and also letting the parents know the expectation. There is a time commitment. So I really like to lay out the expectations in the beginning so that there's no surprises in the end.
Madam Chair, can I ask another question?
Yes, you may, council member.
Thank you. So, what GPA are you looking for?
We're looking for like a 2.5 and higher, not trying to say we won't take anyone with the 2.0. So we try to go with the 2.5 and higher, just making sure that, you know, the girls are, you know, focused on their schoolwork. We don't want this to be a distraction from school, but definitely like a 2.5 and higher we normally look for. And also, you know, a recommendation, we look at the full package because you may have a girl that may have a lower GPA average, and it may be for a variety of reasons, but we do try to work with the young ladies as well, because this may be like a way out to kind of push them to strive for excellence as well.
That's what I was getting at. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay, if you are finished, Councilwoman Gray, did you still have a question?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Bell, I have several questions. Do you have a maximum for the girls that are attending? And I'll just give you the other one now. Do you have a dance teacher, or are you doing all the dance teaching?
No, no, ma'am. Oh my gosh. As you know, I've learned that no man is an island. You cannot effectively run any organization trying to do everything. So to answer your first question, Councilwoman, is that I try to stick with, for this right now, no more than 15. I have about 13, 14, 114 has kind of had an injury. So I have 14 right now. So I just try to stick with 15 until I get the manpower, the more additional support I needed to help. And that's going to look differently in 2022. And to answer your second question, yes, I have 2 dance instructors who work with the girls. We did have to break the girls up in ability because some of the older girls were a little bit more advanced. And then some of the younger ones still needed some basic skills with dance. So we had to break it up, you know, by ability. So to answer both of your questions, yes, I do have an instructor. No, I don't do it all anymore. I can't.
Thank you. Madam Chair, may I follow up?
Yes, you may.
Ms. Bell, you said that your organization is faith-based. Can you explain how that works with different faiths? Like if you had agnostic, atheist, Muslim, you know, and then different sects of Christianity also, are they all welcome, or how do you incorporate all of them together?
That's a great question. As of right now, I haven't run into that problem right now, and that's something to think about more. You know, we're like I said, a Christian organization, and we're really trying to make sure that we are faith-centered and we're centered in the Word of God. But that is something I probably need to look into further down the road. But I haven't run across that bridge yet with having someone else in who may be, you know, Muslim, that may be of a religion affiliation. I haven't had that issue yet. But thank you for having me to kind of think about that, you know, further down the road.
What about, I noticed they're all Black and brown young ladies. So what about other nationalities?
Yes, we're open. It just happened to be the way our girls were referred, and our network is just, they're all Black and brown girls, but we're open to other ethnicity as well. But it's also really great to see Black and brown girls who are doing amazing and extraordinary things. So I think it's nice to still highlight Black and brown girls, because a lot of times we are, our narrative is always negative in the media, but to see these girls who are doing absolutely amazing, I just think that's wonderful as well. But we are still open to all ethnicities. It just happened to be that most of the girls that I'm working with are girls of color.
Thank you very much. And I think it's I really like what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. So if there's no other questions, I just had one more, just wanted to ask Ms. Bell. Just wanted to find out the age out. So you basically made me aware that you have about 14 young ladies. Do they age out once they graduate, or at high school or?
Yes, one of my young ladies, she's a senior and she's been with me since she was, I want to say, since was in eighth grade. So her mom wanted her to stay within the program. So I kind of utilized her as my youth leader. So normally once they graduate from high school, they do age out. But I still would like them to come back and kind of serve as some type of mentor and role model.
Okay, so then is there actual specific range then?
Oh, yes, yeah, to answer your question, the specific range is from
Mhm.
7 to 18.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right, thank you. I do see our president, council president has a question.
Yes, I just wanted to say congratulations, and it's awesome to see you flourishing and your ladies flourishing, and just let us know how we can help. We've been knowing each other for years, and it's really a good feeling just to see how far you and your team have come. So we wish you nothing less, and thank you for honoring one of our very own in Rashima Dixon.
Absolutely. And thank you, Trippy, Councilman Congo. I appreciate when we needed your limo services to take our girls on a spa day. So thank you so much for the services you did render for the girls. And thank you, Councilman Harley, as well, for your wonderful donation and your support as well. I can't see everyone on the screen, so I just happened to see you pop up. So thank you so much, Councilman Harley, for all of your support with the girls as well.
Okay, Councilwoman Harley, I did see your hand up and then back down. Did you have a comment or a question?
Just wanted to be acknowledged. Thank you, Madam.
Okay. Okay, so I thank you so much, Ms. Bell, for coming to present Girls with Pearls. We really appreciate the information that we received, and we actually look forward to when you have the space to start doing some active recruiting. So, and hopefully, some of my colleagues or those in the audience will get a chance to see your upcoming event.
Absolutely. But thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, so we will actually go to the next item on our agenda, which is a presentation by Out of the Ashes. And who will actually be giving the presentation?
I will, Coley Harris. Good evening.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harris, for joining us.
My pleasure. So,
The floor is yours.
thank you. Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Coley Harris, along with my son, Amar Melton, and Patricia Harris. We are the founders of Out of the Ashes, where seed finds life. Out of the Ashes, we started the program back in 2015 to address a problem of children of incarcerated parents and caregivers who were not receiving any proper support to address the issues of trauma around absentee parents. We found that a lot of children were going to schools and even in community centers and programs, and no one really had a conversation with them to know that they had an absentee or incarcerated parent that needed and they would need additional support for that. So what we do in Out of the Ashes, we have a proprietary drama therapy presentation in the form of a 3-act play in which we discussed personal challenges of myself, Coley Harris, and Amar Melton, and our relationship. I'm a formerly incarcerated individual, and my son was 2 years old when I went to prison. He was 16 years old when I came home. And needless to say, we had definitely had to work to reconcile a relationship. So we created this drama therapy presentation to kind of help families to broach the conversation around incarcerated parents, and also to allow for students to be able to get an opportunity to see a restoration in process. So some of the additional services that we do beyond our presentation is we actually offer individual counseling, group counseling, keynote speaking, community events, resource procurement and assistance through the Division of Social Services. And we actually on staff, our key staff members are Amar Melton, who actually does the marketing promotion, Patricia Harris, who handles sales and administrative, Coley Harris, who does product development, Mr. Kevin Kirby, who is our director of audio visuals, Dr. Moriel McDuffie, who handles our clinical service, and Mr. Lemuel Miller, who handles our counseling services as well. So I just want to give some of the key highlights for Out of the Ashes. In our 2019 year, pre-COVID, we had the opportunity to impact 63 families between the ages of 5 and 75 years old. And some of the key outcomes from that were 84% of our youth reported that they knew that they needed to communicate better and more frequently with their parents about their feelings. 94% of parents and caregivers reported being neutral or willing to meet with healthcare professionals or counselors to assist with parenting issues. And we know this is significant, particularly for considering that the African American community, who, by the way, are most of the people that we serve, not all, but the majority of the individuals that we serve. And we know that there's a huge stigma around mental health counseling in the African American community. So we thought that was a very significant outcome to be highlighted. Some of our partners in prior services that we provided with Gateway Lab Charter Schools, Bayard Middle School, Albert Palmer, State of Delaware, Kuma Academy, various churches throughout Delaware and Maryland. We are also one of the presenters at the Fatherhood and Family Coalition of America's conferences and the National Fatherhood Initiative. Our future work, we hope to continue to provide services to children and families in Wilmington who are involved in the criminal justice system, and to continue to provide services to children with incarcerated parents or caregivers in all the schools and school districts, in not only throughout Wilmington and Newcastle County, but throughout the state of Delaware. How could the city council help us? So we just encourage the city council to help us to impose upon schools, community programs, and official bodies that they would prioritize support for children and families with incarcerated caregivers. One of the things that really sticks out is, nowadays trauma is like a buzzword, and we recognize that there's a lot of trauma in our neighborhood and communities, and compound trauma from violence and gun violence and things of that nature. But one of the significant pieces is not having a parent. And unfortunately, it's become commonplace. I think in some cases we kind of accept it as the norm when it's not normal. And our children suffer from it, because we have children that go to schools and don't know how to have a conversation about one of the most significant people in their lives not being present. And we also have not caregivers, but staff, support staff, administrators at programs who don't know how to broach that conversation as well. And, one of the takeaways from this presentation that I would like to leave with you guys, and we'll be opening up for questions, is this, with the council body, is this. My son went from preschool through kindergarten, from preschool up through 11th grade, with no one really being aware that his father was incarcerated. And in any adults who did know in the buildings that he went to school, he was in Boy Scouts, he went to after school programs, he played sports. The ones that did know, they didn't offer any additional supports to help him to process his feelings and work through and offering the additional support for him through that process. And that's an unfortunate thing. Incarceration is a very real thing. We know how much it has impacted Black and brown communities. We know that a high number of formerly incarcerated individuals return to 19801, 19802, and 805 every year. But one of the things that we really don't talk about, or we really don't work to address in a significant manner, is restoring those families after an individual has returned to the community from incarceration. And we at Out of the Ashes feel as though this is one of, if not the most significant issues that families are dealing with in the city of Wilmington. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harris. Does anyone have any questions about Out of the Ashes?
Yes, my hand's not working again.
All right. Go ahead, Councilwoman Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Harris, I'm really interested in the drama presentation that you have. Can you tell me what it consists of, how long it is, and who's involved in it?
Yes, absolutely. So it's a 2-man, 3-act drama presentation in the form of a play, if you will. And it's basically a dramatization of myself and my son, Amar Melton, our different upbringings and some of the challenges that we met growing up individually and growing up being a part and while incarcerated, and some of the challenges and intergenerational issues between like my father's, my relationship with my own father and myself, and then his and mine. And then our last act, we have two separate acts. And then the very last act is a depiction of our reconnection post-incarceration. So like the first conversation that an individual would have with a child after returning back to the community.
Thank you. Follow up, Madam Chair.
Yes, you may.
Mr. Harris, you were discussing or saying that you wanted to get into the schools. Have you ever thought of asking to present that in a school for a number of classrooms, like maybe 4th grade through 6th or something like that?
Yes, we have. We presented at schools. Some of them I mentioned, Bayard, Elbert Palmer, Gateway Lab, charter schools, and others. But what we're more interested in doing is presenting this, making this a regular presentation and a program inside of the schools. And for the simple fact that we know, without a shadow of a doubt, that a significant number of children in the city of Wilmington and throughout the state of Delaware and the country for that matter, are impacted by incarcerated parents. And as I mentioned earlier, it's sad, it's unfortunate that many times these children have to walk around with that feeling of abandonment, of shame and loneliness, and no one ever processes with them because one of the things is kind of taboo, I've come to find out, for individuals to talk to the children in schools about incarcerated parents.
Okay, thank you. Just some information. I used to run a psychodrama group at Smyrna. It was for adults and for the prisoners, but it was very similar to what you're doing, except the prisoners were involved in the psychodrama. They got to act out what their problem was. They would take one problem, like you would be like meeting your father for the first time, and then they would act out how they would go through that. And if some of the actions were inappropriate, then someone in the group would correct them and say, no, we should do it this way, or the person leading the group. So if you incorporate kids in it, you can cover two areas. One, they may express their feelings in front of peers in the psychodrama group, and two, you're taking it into the schools. Thank you, though, for what you're doing.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Councilman Gray. Did anyone else have okay, Council President?
Thank you. Thank you, Chairwoman. Yeah, I just want to congratulate you, Coley, and your family, your wife, and your son. Just for the awareness of, even doing what you're doing and the courage. I have does the state give you any funding?
So currently we have a small contract that we operate through from the Division of Social Services, and it covers some of the work that we do in the community centers. Okay, all right. I just wondering what kind of financial support you guys are getting, because it's an awesome program. So we definitely want to make sure that it is as successful as it can be, even on the council level. So we'll talk. Okay, thank you, Council President. All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Harley.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So first of all, I want to say to Mr. Harris, thank you for the presentation and sharing the benefits and the value of your program.
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to hear some snippets about it, so I thought that it would definitely be of value to my council colleagues to hear this presentation, because I heard some of it, and what I heard was very impressive in the as it relates to this program, and what you're offering is really needed as it relates to a number of the communities in the city that we all represent. So, sometimes one person trying to capture all the high points of an awesome program that you have and trying to communicate it, I don't think I would have been very effective at it. So I'm glad that you were able to come on today and to share the highlights and the high points about your program. And I just wanted to also mention to you that you can use this video. We video all of our meetings and it's easy access. So if you ever need to, if you would like to use this video that we are discussing tonight, you can also use it and send this link to any other interested organizations or parties.
Right. Thank you very much, Councilwoman.
Yes, that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman Harley. Councilwoman Fields, you had a question or comment?
Just a comment. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to say thank you for your presentation. I really enjoyed it. This was my first time ever hearing about your program. I wish you much success. And it seems like you're going in the right direction because this is needed throughout the city of Wilmington. And I'm hoping that you can take it statewide. So just keep up the good work. Keep us informed on what's going on. And I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you, my council colleagues. Is there anyone else that had any questions? Because I did have one thing I wanted to ask about. Okay, so Mr. Harris, my question basically goes to the privacy issues. I do realize one of the things you did state, and it does make sense to me, about the fact that your child basically had no one really come to him and talk to him about what he was going through for pretty much his whole primary education. And so the reason why I brought that up is because of the privacy issues. And one of the things that we were having issues with when it came to other programs, trying to identify some issues that were going on in households and things, and it's the sharing. Is there any way have you discussed any way of trying to get around that so that more children who are having this problem can have someone to talk to that can actually identify them and bring them to your attention?
Yeah, that's a great question, Councilwoman McCoy. It's ironically enough, once we started doing work in the schools, we found out that it really wasn't a privacy issue at all in the schools that we work with. It was common knowledge. The principals, so we initially, when we meet with the school administration, we'll meet with the principal, probably a counselor, maybe a dean, guidance counselor, someone, and they already will have a list of identified students who have incarcerated parents. It's just, people don't know how to have that conversation with the children. And, once we do the presentation, it's amazing how much the children open up to us. I mean, we've had children as young as, I want to say as young as 5 or 6 years old. And I can vaguely, it sticks out to me poignantly. We were at the Southbridge neighborhood house, and we had some young children, and they were really acutely aware of what was going on in their household as far as their parents, mostly fathers, being incarcerated, not in their lives. And they were open to talk about it. They wanted to talk about it. And it was, no one just had the conversation with them to help them to work through it. So, to answer your question, Councilwoman McCoy, it hasn't been a privacy issue. It's been more of a, to be honest, it's more of an issue with the adults kind of being a little tentative about broaching the conversation with the children in schools.
Okay. Thank you, because one of the words you actually did state is taboo, and I do understand why some people don't, if they don't know exactly what to say to the child, then they opt out. So,
yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So if there's I thank you so much for your presentation. You did state also that you had an event coming up. I'm sorry. Could you repeat the date?
We have an event coming up on November the 6th. It's called Burying the Myth, and we are challenging the narrative of the disengaged father, particularly the disengaged African American father. A few years back, the Centers for Disease Control had conducted a study in which they found that not only were fathers engaged with their children, but particularly African American fathers were the most engaged fatherhood group in the United States. And if we listen, to popular opinion and what's coming out of the media, the narrative is always a totally different story. So we want to bury that myth in a ceremonial burial. We're actually doing like a ceremonial funeral, and we want to highlight the fact that fathers, particularly African American fathers, are present in their children's lives.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for all that information. If there is no one else, I just would like to thank Mr. Harris and his son for coming out to present. I do see that there is in the website www.outoftheashesllc.com for further review and I guess to get more information. So thank you so much for coming out and making certain that we were aware and that I wish you the best for anything that you're doing with our young people.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
All right. You have a great evening.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So we do have one last item on the agenda. It is a resolution. So we have a resolution approving the Department of Parks and Recreation's grant application to the State of Delaware Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control for funds allocated pursuant to the 2021 Outdoor Recreation Parks and Trails Grant Program to support improvements to the Christina Park Pier. And our sponsor is Councilman Harley. Now, who would
Yes.
you like to come? Yes, who's going to speak to this matter?
Yes, I will, Madam Chair. Okay, so a little bit of background regarding this particular resolution. About 4 years ago, myself and the mayor and some of the directors or deputy directors in Parks and Recreation, we did a walkthrough of all the parks in the 4th District. And there were a number of parks that needed some love in the 4th District. We worked on Herman Holloway Park. There were some other parks in the 4th District, of course, Eden Park. We all know about all the renovations there. And when we went over to the Christina Park, we realized that not only did it need some love, some TLC, there were some areas that needed to be repaired. I believe that Parks and Recreation, they were able to fix whatever needed to be fixed temporarily. And so that was handled in terms of a temporary fix. And then we talked about the pier being renovated. So within the last 4 years, we have been going back and forth with making sure that we got the money that was needed in the budget to be able to renovate this park. This is a park, Christina Park is the park to the right as you're going over to South Bridge, over that particular bridge, 4th Street Bridge. And there's a number of residents that love to be in that park. They do fishing. There's children over there. There are youth over there. It's a beautiful park. But looking at the pier, it was just very, very, very rickety in addition to it being a safety hazard. So this resolution is being requested, this resolution is basically authorizing the Department of Parks and Recreation's grant application to be submitted to the state of Delaware's Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Control to get $150,000 to help towards the renovation of the pier. And there are dollars that have been allocated already in our budget. So with this particular grant, it's going to help complete the renovations that are needed for the pier in Christina Park.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilman Harley. Did anyone have any questions about the resolution? Okay, I don't see any. Okay, so I just wanted to make certain that we went over this. Okay, so $150,000 is actually the amount of the grant, and the city is actually only required to provide 1/3 to match.
That's correct. Yes, that's correct. And again, like I said, Madam Chair, that money has already been allocated and voted on it's already in the budget.
Yes, I was just about to add that. It says here in the fiscal impact. All right, thank you. So if there are no questions about this, and you know what, I'm sorry, I never got a chance to really address those who were in the public. If anyone had any questions about this resolution, okay. Seeing that there's none, and since it is a resolution, it is actually not required to be voted on. And that we will be seeing this resolution in front of the full council on October 21st, correct? Okay.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry. May I?
Oh, yes, you may.
Yes, I do want to acknowledge the Director of Parks and Recreation, Mr. Ian Smith. He is on this particular, he's a part of this meeting, and I just wanted to know if he had anything that he wanted to say or add.
All right, thank you very much, Councilwoman Harley. Director Smith, did you have anything to add to the resolution?
Good evening. Other than adding that, I'm excited. Those of you who've gone down there, you see there's a dedicated group of people who love that park, and they use that park. They use the pier, and it'll be great to have it repaired, not only for them, but to encourage other kids, other people to get out there and fish and enjoy nature. So thank you for the opportunity to share that.
Thank you so much, Director Smith. I do agree. Every time I pass by that park, it is actually pretty much full. People are there and they are enjoying, I guess, whatever resources or activities that are there. So it'd be great to actually have it in repaired and looking great. So, as I stated, this is a resolution, so it actually is not required to be voted on. It will be brought before a full council on October 21st. And if there is nothing else, I wish to thank everyone for joining us this evening. And I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. And thank you so much. And hopefully we'll see you next month at Education Youth and Families Committee. You have a great
thank
evening.
you. Thank you. You too.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.